In the upper left starting location, we have our Protoss player. He is the Wizard of
FX Oz.
Oz. Okay. Moving on to the bottom right side of the map, a player who is down 1 game. Can he come back? We'll see. His ID is
Starter Curious.
almost didn't get the word is out there.
Yeah. It's all right. It's a hard word, man. 2 letters and everything. 2 of the most used letters in the English language.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Jeez, guys.
All right. You know, I want to go ahead and say a few things about Oz's opening last game, in case he does something similar this game, and how I'm kind of interested in it, because with Kiwikaki's version of the Double Gate, he gets his 2 gases a lot later because he's actually getting out 6 Zealots chrono boosted for more damage potential. But I liked Oz's build actually a little bit more now that I'm really thinking about the early parts of the build. Oh my god. Almost gets it.
No way.
I gotta tell you, that's frustrating as Protoss to lose that probe. You have to decide, do I send another probe out or not? And if he sees me send it out, the probe's gonna die anyways. It's a sad state of affairs. Now, back to that build real quick. Again, I'm quite interested in it because the early game part of it, he only gets out 3 Zealots, right? And that forces a lot of Zerglings, so that's kind of cool in and of itself.
Yeah.
The follow-up, I'm not completely sure about for Oz. It's like, I understand, okay, yeah, 7-gate blink +2. That's just a great thing to do on 2 base. It's so powerful against Zerg. But, yeah, I don't know. It basically tastes what I'm trying to say. I'm really interested in his version of the 2-gate after the Nexus, and I want to see it more.
With it.
I want to play around with it more. It's cool. It's a cool way to... I love how different people interpret the game in different ways.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yes.
Is this canon late? Is he going to have to wall in? Because
yeah, I think this is a plan to have to wall in the Double Gate once again.
Well, what is he going to... I think actually he can't do it in time. And look, if I'm seeing this correctly...
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, that was so close.
That was pretty tight. Well, he always could have canceled the probe, I guess, and gotten up if they were a little bit quicker than Zerglings. Yeah, will he cancel that one?
Yeah, he should.
Well, he might be going for the same build again.
Oh, well,
which I would love to see it again, because Curious is not going to do the same counter to it this game, because his counter actually wasn't that good.
You know, it's funny because it would never occur to me to do a build like this from our Protoss.
Yeah,
player.
you know, that's actually...
it does not, I am so from StarCraft 1 that I would automatically make the Cybernetics Corp. Be like, we have to tech, it's a fast expand.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a slightly different game. And I kind of like it. I really do. Because it's just... One of the cool ways to play Protoss against Zerg, and one of the most popular ways, is to look at times in common play where Zerg is going to be low on units or droning.
This is an interesting stat. This really goes to show you that the FXO and FOU merger helped Oz out a lot. You know?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I
can believe it, man. That's a great group of players. But, yeah, you know, one of these common ways to create strategies against Zerg is to put on pressure at times where they want to drone. And that's kind of what this is. He's sacrificing the speed of his tech slightly to put on some extra pressure. But his Zealots went in a different direction, so one of them's going to die for free.
You can see, though, that Curious from the last game has had little, if any, experience with this. Like, he doesn't really deal with it that well, you know?
Yeah, certainly not last game. This game making nothing but Zerglings against it. I like that a lot more than going into the Roaches.
All right, these Zealots not doing the optimal amount of damage. That one Zealot was led astray and got cornered.
And now Curious gets thrown up a bit more. So the extra 2 gas is going up for our Protoss player. Third base for Curious. And everything looks pretty good, actually, for both players. Everything is turning into a much more standard thing. And I wonder if Oz is going to follow that up once again with the 7-gate blink and +2. I feel like last game, he got a little bit further ahead with this build because his opponent, Curious, went for a bunch of roaches and lings and like took him a minute to figure out he was never going to do damage against 5 cannons and some sentries, which allowed for Oz to, really get ahead and hit him with a strong timing. And Curious still almost did the right things to hold it. So
do you think
if he does the same thing this time, I don't like it as much.
Do you think that the 7-gate was because he had messed up a bunch at the start of that game? Because you had games like this, right, where I'm like, oh, I've already made a few mistakes. This is not going well. I'm just going to go ahead and 7-gate now.
It definitely could be, but in this, I get the feeling it's not. I think that's what his plan was the whole time. That's my guess, but of course, it's hard to say.
All right, the Roach Warren finishes. This is about, it's time for this push to start up. I do think Curious is going to do a better job holding an attack than the previous game.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is cool.
What?
He's getting Hallucination and the Robo, so it looks like Immortals are going to be made out of that Robo, most likely. And, in fact, an Immortal on the way, and a Twilight Council. So this is getting kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, Hallucination is ability I've been getting in every single PvZ now after I expand. Just using those Phoenixes, Hallucinated Phoenixes, to scout the map endlessly.
Oh, yeah.
I get to know exactly what's going on at any point in time.
It's pretty awesome. Well, Immortal, then Observer, on the way. A ton of drones on the way for Curious. He is really droning hard right now. Really hard. Wow. And, in fact, he's making a second Roach Warren. And that may actually be on purpose. He may be wanting to get burrow movement and speed at the same time, because his economy is pretty darn good. 3 bases, 68 drones right now.
All right, Hallucinated Phoenix is moving out. And I usually get 2, but he's going to send out just 1. It's good that the Zerglings managed to spot the Immortal.
Oh. And Oz actually...
2 Roach Warrens. I just noticed that.
Yep. Oz, he did do that, it looks like, for the speed and burrow movement at the same time, which is something that obviously is going to help out a lot against someone who's very heavy in sentries.
Yeah.
But the very quick third base off of this build. This is really cool to watch Oz with kind of these slightly newer, different tweaked strategies. And in fact, he hasn't even gotten Blink. So far, that Twilight has been for nothing but +2 attack.
I'm also surprised he hasn't made those into warp gates in his expansion, or his second base.
I'm sure it's just a slight mistake.
Oh, wow, he didn't get to see that last hatchery.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
You're right. Oops. Well, as a Protoss player, he's going to look at this and say, I'm taking a 3rd, he must be taking a 4th, right? It's either a 4th or he's going to basically all-in attack. So, a Spire going up for Curious.
Oh, nice block. Oh!
Oh, wow. Nice. Dropping quite a few when he's in there. Trying to break through. Really no losses for Oz.
Yeah. That's actually a lot.
Yeah. I do not mind that Spire going up right now, I have to say. I'm not offended by it.
You're not offended?
I realize how silly that sounds, but I think that's kind of cool, because right now we have 11 sentries out. You're going to have to deal with that. You can't just go roaches and deal with that. And there's also a couple of mortals and a good number of zealots. So there is the potential to really use... Oh my god, there's 2 huge attacks going on, but...
All right, he's going to try to counter, and he's going into the main expansion.
Wow, he's just going to bust
And this is right where
here.
the warp gates all are, so he can actually unpower those pylons immediately.
Yeah, you definitely can. In the meantime, there is a lot of damage going down on his home. A lot of mutas on the way, though.
All right, we are in a base trade scenario here.
Wow, this is... What a weird circumstance we are seeing.
All right, he's going to go straight up and try to get to the heart of the Zerg's base. I actually don't know how a game like this ends. I think the Protoss has more muscle, and therefore can damage more stuff more quickly.
Well, I want to see right now Curious throw up 1,000 spines at one of his base. And in fact, he's starting to, but realistically, he has 1,700 minerals. This is a true base trade situation. So he just needs to throw up a ton of spines at his furthest base, and, he's going to be in good shape.
Well, this is weird. Okay, so the Roach is taking a ton of damage. I don't think he can actually save that hatchery. And the main is actually just not useful. I mean, the main has all the tech.
Oh, the drones right now are taking out sentries.
Oh
Look
my
at this.
God.
He has them on move
He's not
command.
even paying
He does
attention.
everything on move command. An Immortal walks into the spines, does no damage, and the drones take out the army of Oz. Wow. Big portion of his army now gone. Big portion. Oz still has some economy. His main is still mining. He still has his natural nexus.
He can go back and beat down on these roaches and mutas. He needs to keep his army together.
And he's bringing back the rest of the army. Should be enough to take out what Curious has there. He does have an observer with it as well, so the burrow movement not going to be as
This is
useful.
anything but a normal PDZ, guys. All right, go for the Nexus. And let's see here. Oz does actually not have a lot of money.
All right, so actually, wow. After all is said and done, it looks like Oz is definitely in a big lead here.
Yep.
We have one Nexus left and one hatchery left. No real production for Curious, whereas we still have 4 warp gates on the map with another one on the way. No, we have 7 with another on the way.
Well, the other thing is that he lost his lair.
Yeah, he
his
did.
tech has been reset, so any muta he loses is gone forever.
His Roachhorn in his spawning pool will bleed out eventually.
Yeah, that's a good point too. So he's got to remake that. So yeah, I think Oz has this. I think.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. I mean, he's remaking his Roachhorn even though he still has one, unfortunately. That's kind of a waste. But yeah, it's 51 supply to 90. He's trying to re-expand as well. And he really needs to get some production going on. Curious does. He just needs a bigger army, but it looks like he's going to do a counterattack. Counterattack is not going to work.
And he doesn't quite have enough. Yeah, and I think Curious is slowly but surely realizing that he is going to be dead in the series.
Yeah, this is a pretty hard spot he's in, no doubt about it. If he could somehow kill the army Oz has, then maybe he's fine, the army that's out there. Because Oz's economy is not very large right now. Curious really needs to get up another base immediately.
Well, you know, the other problem is that Curious's only real defense that he could get would be spine crawlers, but I mean, then he's, you know, losing a drone each time he makes a spine crawler. So it's kind of a spiral. Spirals down. It's spiral shaped.
It's a candy cane.
I'm apparently like not very articulate right now.
All right, so
force fields everywhere.
The end is near for Mr. Curious here. He's doing some good micro. The force fields are there. There is an observer. Nice blink up.
This really goes to show you how a Protoss can bully a Zerg when he's low on numbers.
Oh yeah.
The Zerg is just trying to do some scrappy play.
Yeah, you need your production as Zerg. You absolutely do. Oh, such a smart move. A Dark Shrine on the way.
Oh, that's really smart.
Just a great
layer,
move.
right? You killed the evolution chambers.
In any super low economy game, DTs become unbelievably valuable. You cannot just spend money to have detection everywhere. It's very difficult to do.
The good news is that actually, I think for Oz's sake, he actually knows he's won this now.
Yeah. And in fact, if those roaches go down, we may see a GG, but I think he's going to hold on until the DTs come. But when the DTs come, he actually has no overseers, no evolution chambers, and no layer. And in fact, his spawning pool isn't done yet.
Nope, we got a counterattack over here. Now he sees the Dark Shrine. He might be able to get the Dark Shrine before it finishes.
That would be huge.
And he's going to get it. He's going to. No, actually, he could probably warp out a few DTs.
One DT on the way.
Yep.
But in that time, he did get to start his evolution chamber, so Curious is still trying to fight back here. Can't really blame him for it. He needs to make a spore crawler pretty quickly here at both bases. It's kind of stressing me out. I don't see any spore crawlers.
All right, here's one.
None of his other.
There's an overseer.
Oh, he does have an overseer.
I didn't realize he had an overseer.
No, I
guess it says it on our on our unit tab. It actually said that, but I didn't see it. So the sentries and the stalkers are going to move down now.
Oh, that's just too many.
And I think that's just too many. I mean, this is no longer a game of strategy. This is a game of math. As you can see, there's just too much Protoss and not enough Zerg.
That's right. So it looks like Oz is going to get his revenge on Curious for that Code A Finals. Even though Curious continuing to try to do counterattacks and whatnot, the actual standing army of Oz is just too strong.
Yeah, he's just... All right, well, I would say expect GG. I think the Protoss is just going to go over here to this bottom left location and smother the Zerg with his presence, which is actually double the supply of his opponent.
Yep. 4 spines, a queen, and a few roaches.
I think Oz thinks there's more up there than there actually is.
Curious being pretty cute.
Yeah, it's really strange. He's putting the force fields on top of the roaches, even when they're burrowed, so they can't actually unburrow underneath them.
Yeah, that way they could run away a little bit quicker. But Curious just trying to hold on over here. Another Nexus is going up for Oz in the meantime, so...
I don't think he understands that there's actually almost nothing up there.
GG.
Okay, there it is. GG. All right.
Wow, so Oz taking down Curious 2-0. Very interesting games both. A lot can be learned from them.
Yeah, well done by Oz. He's off to a very good start here.
And that opener was a little bit weird from Oz. He did a 3-Zalt pressure into a Robo and Twilight for +2. Ton of Sentries and Immortals. And a few Zalts mixed in for anti-Zergling into a third base. I have not seen a build quite like that.
No, I have not seen it either.
Definitely not in Belshire
In Game
Beach.
1, I was positive it was a mistake, actually. When I saw this thing finish, I was like, oh.
Game 1 was
really?
weird. That was a weird
that was weird
game, but a lot of cool stuff to learn from in it, like basics.
Right.
This game, interesting build.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed casting it. We're going to go on to, TVZ next, right?
Yeah, next
Bomber against...
PVT.
No, PVT.
Bomber
I'm sorry.
Inca.
Yeah, PVT.
Bomber Inca.
Bomber Inca. Yeah, right as I said that, I'm like, wait a minute. Who's the Zerg? I'm like, I don't know. So great. Bomber and Inca is going to come up here. Inca is going to be the underdog here. That doesn't mean he can't win, but, you know.
Well,
then again,
I tell you,
Inca's capable of some cute stuff.
Bomber, you know how he kind of dropped off a little bit?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't getting to practice quite as much. He was traveling more. You know, he was doing a lot of promotional stuff in Korea. But recently, he has been practicing his ass off. So I think he's going to look good.
Should be pretty cool. We'll be back after 5 minutes, so please stay tuned here at the GSL.